Welcome along to Snetterton, everybody, in advance of what's coming up, round 8 of the 2023 Clubmans Sports Prototype Championship. Beautiful clear skies, nice warm ambient temperature for the first time in, well, it seems like months. It almost feels like summer might finally have arrived. So the cars are already heading around on their formation lap in advance of this first race for them of the weekend, first of 3 that we'll be bringing you over the course of this weekend. And the way that the grid will line up, of course, is going to be based on the qualifying times that were set earlier on over the course of this morning. Yeah, 15-minute race it will be, and we should hopefully very soon be able to guide you through the grid and the way that they will line up. There were a few cars that had troubles over the course of whether it be the open practice that existed this morning or qualifying. So there were, I think, 4 cars that did not set a time, and now hopefully all 4 of those will be on the back of the grid. But maybe some of them are still in the process of being repaired in advance of this race. So the cars are on their formation. That will give you the grid in a few moments' time. It's a multi-class structure for the Clubmans Sports Prototype Championship. Class CSP1 is maximum 2-litre if it's a car-derived engine, or 1.6-litre motorcycle engine, and maximum of 200 brake horsepower. CSP2 is for MG double overhead cam K-series engine cars, 1600cc cars. CSPA is for pre-81 chassis with 1700 cross-flow engines, and Class B is for pre-81 chassis with 1600cc cross-flow engines, so slightly less power. Grid then, I'll run through the grid. I don't think we're going to bring you a graphic, but it's going to be James Clark, who so far this season is unbeaten, that lines upon pole position, and alongside is the silver and the blue car on your screen there, which is Steve Dickens. So it's 67 and 7 on row number 1. Row 2 of the grid is 50 Clive Ward and 17 Alan Cook. Row 3 is 32 Steve Collier and 55 Ben Mallock. Row 4 sees number 66 Adrian Lester line up alongside 20, which is Matteo Gautier Thornton, 66 and 20. And row 5 is Steve Chaplin and 53 Will Freeman, 5 and 53. Row 6 is 87 Samantha Evans and 54 Barry Webb, 87 and 54. Row 7 is 47 Graham Wilson and 5, which is Neil Chapman. Row 8 is number 58 Tom Muirhead. I think he is, if memory serves me correctly, the only champion in any of the classes from last year that's on the grid this weekend. He was the Class CSPB champion last year, and alongside his 52 Roger Watton. Row 9 is 34 Sean Hurley and 40 Mike Upton. Row 10 is 46 Colin Ralph and 89 Brendan Hurd. Row 11, and now we're into the cars that had problems in qualifying all this morning, is number 30 Spencer McCarthy and 74, which is Lee Parks. Can't see either of those cars out there. And then the final row of the grid should be 68 Jared Lester, but I can't see his car there. But I can see 56 Steve Littler at the tail end of the field. Mike Evans, who is one of the committee members of the Clubmans Register, joins me in the commentary box. Mike, great to have you back along. Nice that we're live streaming the Clubmans again. A few cars, I gather, with problems in qualifying, of which 3 of them I can't see there at the back of the grid.
That's right indeed, Mark. Yes. So Spencer McCarthy's got an engine problem. Something with the distributor keeps losing the rotor arm, so he's not starting this race. Who else? Jared Lester, they've changed the engine and everything, so they're hoping to get out tomorrow. And Lee Parks have got a gearbox problem.
Oh, no, right, okay.
Right, so anyway, the front runners are back on the grid.
Yeah, and am I right in thinking that the only champion in any of the classes from last year that's on this grid is Tom Muirhead, who won CSPB last year? All the other champions are not here this weekend or have gone off and done other things.
Yeah, and we can touch on that in a few minutes, yes.
Right, okay, so James Clark, the man who is unbeaten so far this year, sits there on pole position in the number 67 machine, the silver and blue car of Steve Dickens alongside. Row 2 of the grid, it's grey with day-glow yellow flashes for Clive Wood alongside the largely white car with some green flashes to it of Tom Bellamy. I thought his car was when I looked at it earlier on.
Not got a problem as well.
Right, okay, so he's not. Couldn't see that car on the grid. Right, so we're about to get things underway. The revs will begin to rise. So there's another car missing on the grid. 15 minutes on the clock. Round 8 of the 2023 Clubmans Sports Prototype Championship goes green here at Snetterton. Not a bad start from the man from the outside of the front row of the grid, Steve Dickens, who got the jump there on James Clark and is going to propel himself through and into the lead. And can Clive Wood come through into second? No, he can't. So James Clark is down from pole to second place. But it was a brilliant start from Steve Dickens, who really got the Mallock off the line well and leads as they head up towards a braking area for Wilson for the first time. So James Clark, the man who's unbeaten so far this year, has got a bit of work to do here, Mike.
Yeah, indeed. I think this is Yeah, I think he's got a challenge here. So Steve seems very determined. So, but James is really fast, and this is his home circuit. So I'm sure. Oh, there we are. He's fighting for the lead already this week.
Yeah, he is. He's managed to sneak through at Palmer, and he's also then got the inside line as they head up towards Agostini. So should be through and into the lead of the race, James Clark. Yep, so the Phantom goes through. Steve Dickens, who had an awful season last season in the defence of his title, it really came unstuck really early on in the year, is looking to try and build on his momentum. He was absent at Anglesey last time out, though, wasn't he, Steve?
Yes, he had a wedding that he had to be at, unfortunately. Not his own. But yes, it was a wedding that weekend.
So he's playing a bit of catch-up, isn't he, then, in terms of the points that you can add up over the course of a busy old season with 18 races in the championship for this year. So on to the Bentley Straight for the first time. James Clark leading the way. Steve Dickens in second place. It's Clive Wood there in third place. Good fight going on for fourth at the moment. Alan Cook is managing to keep Steve Collier behind him, and Steve Collier, I think, has also then got the car of Adrian Lester right behind him, is he not?
Yeah, and Ben Edwards as well, and Ben Mallock as well. Ben Mallock in the blue car is actually on Steve Collier's tail. That's right.
And did I spot, again, because I'm an anorak, when it comes to things like Clubmans, Graham Wilson, that's the ex-Peter Richings car,
That's
it?
right, yes.
I thought it was.
Yeah, and Graham's...
there it is on screen now.
There we are. 750 Motor Club runner, and drives a Triumph as well. He was out at Silverstone last weekend in a Triumph.
And Will Freeman, son of Paul?
Yes, and Will's a real star with Clubmans. He's taking like a duck to water and jumping into Paul's car and going quicker than Paul. So Paul's...
Is he hung the helmet up for the moment, is he,
Yeah,
Paul?
I think definitely for the moment. They've had a great season so far.
Over the start-finish line comes Clive Wood, sitting there in third place, but that Martini liveried car of Alan Cook not too far behind. Then Ben Mallock, then Adrian Lester, and then the gorgeous little Phantom P79 of Steve Chaplin. There goes the car I was talking about, the ex-Peter Richings car. Graham Wilson, I've talked to Peter, and he did say he's finally going to retire after how many consecutive years if it was motorsport?
41, I think it was.
Yeah, amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing.
No, and Graham's going well in the car. I mean, it's familiar. It's quite up on power compared to the other cars he's got and drives. But he's been up there with Alan and Ben and those. He's been, and Adrian. There's been a good midfield dice that's been going on there throughout the season so far.
There, going through shot is the P79 Phantom in the hands of Steve Chaplin.
Yeah. So Steve obviously had a problem in practice. He put a brand new battery in, and it lasted to the first corner and then expired.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
no.
Yeah. So he's. That was in the untimed session this morning, so at least he's going now anyway, he's got it sorted.
Yeah, going well as well at the moment because he leads Class CSPA as things currently stand, so that's the pre-81 cars running the full cross-flow engine in race format, so they produce, what, around about 130 brake horsepower, something like that, those cars?
What's the
CSPA?
Yeah, no, it's more like 180.
Is it 180,
yeah, like
right?
185, something like that, yes, yeah. So no, the CSP2 cars are about the 130, and then we've got the Formula Ford engine, the CSPBs, about 105,
105, 108, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah, and a max of 200 if it's CSP1.
Yes, yeah. And for this year, we've changed it slightly. So most cars are 200 brake horsepower, but we now actually have a limit of 180 at the wheel. So maybe slightly more, because obviously we can estimate the power from little boxes that we put on the cars. It's easier to measure actually at the wheel. So we've specified as a max 180 at the wheels, but no, it's normally 200 brake horsepower engines.
Alan Cook was coming under pressure there from the vision of Steve Collier, but Steve made a bit of a hash of Murray's there, and I think has dropped back again a little further. So over the start finish they'll now go. And very unusual design, that vision, the red car in the hands of Steve Collier, isn't it? Particularly around the front corners of the car.
That's right. He's done his own thing there, completely faired in the front wheels and everything. Yes. So. But no, Steve's been going well. Steve Collier's been going well. He's been running at the front and had a cracking race at Silverstone, and then good ones at Anglesey. Thought he had an engine problem with the final race, but yeah, he's really come on strong over the last couple of races.
He's been knocking on the door of the podium because he's finished in fourth place in the last 2 consecutive races. There is somebody that you'll know well as well.
Samantha there, also chasing Barry with Neil on the tail. So her target for this weekend is to get the better of Barry. Maurice Hart, who's not here, and obviously he's done really well in CSP2. Has been giving us some stick that she's got to get one over on Barry.
And how many years consecutive of motorsport or Clubmans racing is it for Barry now?
Oh, I guess I think in the 40s, I'm sure.
Blimey.
Something like that, yeah.
Amazing.
He and Pete were, I think, started at similar times and everything like that. Similar careers in motorsport.
And Barry's still smiling. I had a brief chat to him yesterday when I arrived in the paddock. So number 54 car is Barry Webb, stalwart when it comes to Clubmans racing, running in 12th place. Right behind is Samantha Evans, and then Samantha Evans coming under pressure from the number 5 car of Neil Chapman that sits behind. So they're all busy squabbling away for 12th, for 13th and for 14th at the moment, but that will be for 3rd, 4th and 5th in CSP2.
She's having a look at Barry. Oh my words, yes. She has to remember this is the first of 3 races. Oh, what's she inside him?
She's got the overlap, yeah.
Yeah, I've got the over. Samantha, my word.
And then the door was nearly open there, nearly open for the next car to follow through, but wasn't quite to be.
No.
Down at the bottom of the straight, we've got Graham Wilson looking to pull away from Will Freeman, and that will be 2 cars in separate classes, won't it?
Yes, so Will's in CSP2, so he's second in CSP2 with Matt Gauthier Thornton out in the lead. But Will now, this is for his 3rd race meeting, really going on strong. So no, this is it. Paul's rather apprehensive, his father, about whether how he would do in the car. But anyway, as soon as he got in at Silverstone, our first round, that was it. He was off and gone and challenging right at the front. I think he actually got a win there as well, because Matt had a problem and Barry ran out of fuel in the front.
No. Oh no! Yes, he did. Yeah, it was a 3rd of the races, wasn't it?
Yes,
he won the class in the 3rd of the races.
So your first race meeting, you win the class in the first meeting. Brilliant. Very well.
And again, looking at the form book, James Clark was always going to be the man to beat. He continues to lead the race. He's now opened up, bearing in mind that he didn't get off the line particularly well. He has now opened up a 6 3/4 second advantage.
That's right. No, James, excellent driver, really quick driver, and obviously in Alex Champion's Phantom. So this is the car that Alex drove last year and developed last year. So he's really come on strong with that car. And James is really enjoying driving it. He's mega quick. So we just need the other lads now to rise to the challenge, the gauntlet's been thrown down by them.
It looks as though Will Freeman, you saw a couple of corners ago, was able to squeeze his way through. Graham Wilson, so that's place gained now. Graham Wilson's trying to fight back, goes head up towards Hamilton, and the extra power of that car just tells, and he noses ahead, but they go side by side through Hamilton, and Will Freeman's going to take the place back by the time they get towards Oggies. So good stuff, that.
I'm sure it'll all change down the straight and everything like that.
Yeah, the extra power's going to tell, isn't it? That is absolutely for sure. So the CSP1 car, maximum of 200 brake horsepower, should fairly easily just ease past Will Freeman. There's not a great deal he can do, really, is there?
No, that's right. So, but Graham will be hoping to, in the next race, run up with Alan Cook and Steve Collier and Ben Mallock, Adrian Lester. I mean, that's where he should be and everything like that. Really running up there with those lads and everything.
So we've got already less than half of the race to go. 15-minute race. This squabble that we're looking at the moment. Will Freeman's having another little nibble. Quicker out of Brundle and Nelson. Back at the inside of the Mallock. Will Freeman back through again at the wheel of the Ardmore. So brilliant stuff between those two.
I'm sure Will's father Paul will be having kittens on the pit wall. He was the same at Anglesey, where Will was having the good old dice with Graham there as well. And poor Paul, I think he needed a stiff drink after that meeting.
Well, he's leading CSP2 champion, isn't he? Championship is Will Freeman. No. So he might only be in his first season of racing. In theory, he could take the novice cross off the back now, because this is round number 8. So he's got his 7 signatures, hasn't he?
That's right, indeed, already. So doing well. So there's Adrian Lester there. So we've got Steve Chaplin on his tail, and Steve Collier and Ben Mallock just ahead of him, I think. So.
Yep. So all of the cars in the top 7 are all CSP1 class cars. Yes. The first that's non-CSP1 is going to be the car that is hunting down Adrian Lester at the moment.
That's right.
And that's going to be the number 4 car of Steve Chaplin, who leads class CSPA at the moment.
Yeah. And then Matt Gauthier Thornton, who's leading CSP2, but especially we are down on some of the front-running, CSP1 car. Obviously we've got Tom Bellamy, who's done really well, but Tom had an engine problem in practice.
And where's Cody Tree this weekend?
They had a bit of a nightmare at Anglesey as well, so they're taking the weekend off. Unfortunately, Anglesey was only 2 weeks ago. And
it was, yeah.
These cars are not professional. Well, they're professionally run by amateur driver owners and everything like that, and they have the day jobs they have to do as well. So most of them. We had a bit of quite a few casualties at Anglesey, so quite a few people are missing there, which is really sad, because our CSP1 class now, I think we're about 16, 18 cars registered. Obviously, we've got Maurice Hart and Michelle Haywood have both moved up to CSP1, but having problems, new car problems and developing car problems, and then there's other people with CSP1 cars as well. So the class is ever growing and really coming along well, but unfortunately they had the problems at Anglesey that's precluded people from here.
A good little fight going on at the moment. Alan Cook, who was overtaken by Steve Collier, but Steve's got a problem. Yep, and he's slowing down.
Yeah, got his hand up and there's got a problem. That's a pity. So, and there's Ben Mallock. So Ben, another one that's coming back here. A nightmare weekend at Anglesey with an axle problem and everything. So no, this is it. No, I think we need a bit more gap than 2 weeks between consecutive meetings.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, very much so.
If not only for the cars, for the drivers.
For the drivers,
I know, because Anglesey is such a tough track. Everybody was amazed. We had one practice, one qualifying, and 4 races there. It's a tough old track.
And some of your drivers aren't in the first flush of youth, are they? They're not in the first flush of youth.
Barry never. His starter motor started playing up when he was going out for the final race, and he just said, "I'm absolutely worn out."
When Barry started racing, there were spikes coming out the middle of the wheels. So 4 minutes to go. Good fight still going on, which is Adrian Lester still trying to keep at bay the CSPA leader, which is Steve Chaplin. All of the time edging up towards him is Mathieu Gauthier Thornton, who will put the car in the trailer, park it up at home, and head to Le Mans next weekend.
Oh, right, okay, right, that's interesting. So it's interesting to see Samantha Evans and Barry Webb are still fighting half a second apart over third place in CSP2. So obviously Barry's wasn't going to give it easy. Let Samantha off with it and let her disappear into the distance. He's on the tail. So
yeah,
it's interesting to see.
Yeah, trying hard for what will be 3rd and 4th in Class CSP2. In the meantime, down towards the bottom of the Bentley straight goes Adrian Lester. Of course, in a straight line, he could just stretch the legs a little bit more on his Clubman 35 car.
So, no, and then we've got Tom Muirhead actually in CSPB actually dominant and off into the distance, I think, looking at this, because we're missing Pippa. Martin Walker, unfortunately, he's had to pull out for the remainder of the season, so we're down a couple of from running CSPB cars, so Tom's having it quite easy this season. Yeah,
he's the reigning champion, isn't he, in Class CSPB, and isn't quite unbeaten this year, because he didn't win the 3rd of the races at Anglesey. That was Pippa Tanner-Wood, wasn't it?
Pippa drove really, really well there, yes, and it was great to see her really come on strong there.
And that's Clyde's daughter, isn't it?
Yes, Clyde,
who's running 3rd in the race at the moment.
But another one who's not here this weekend. So I think she's got another commitment on this weekend, but she's not here.
Back to this fantastic fight that we've seen between Graham Wilson, still squabbling away with Will Freeman. The Ardmore that little bit quicker. He's gesticulating, saying, "Come on, get your foot down." Well, absolutely. I'm sure that Graham's pedalling it as quickly as he possibly can, but he's just not as quick. He's quicker down the straights, but through the twiddly parts, that's where Will has the advantage.
Indeed. No, and this is it. These cars take some getting hold of and driving. So this is it. Graham's coming along. This is the first time here, so it's I'm sure the 2nd and 3rd races will be off and gone. So
well, you've got some very fast corners, which are quite daunting, aren't you? You've got to trust the car and the downforce that it affords you, and that's what he's trying to get used to still.
Indeed. Here I've got Samantha with Barry on the tail. I thought Barry would be keeping her honest and everything like that. So good to see it. What's half a second between the two of them, with Neil Chapman on their tail, waiting to go through if anything should happen to them, knowing these pair.
Yeah, so that's 12th, 13th, and 11th, 12th, and 13th places all busy squabbling away.
Yeah.
And that will be for 3rd, 4th, and 5th in CSP2.
Yeah, and obviously James Clark is now on his last lap, and Steve is 15 seconds behind, so yes, that's a good old lead there.
It's been such an amazing start to the season for James Clark. Yes, it's the championship winning car from last year, as you say, that Alex Champkin developed and ultimately stitched up victory by the best part of 50 points last year, but yeah, it's going beautifully well in the hands of James Clark.
That's it. So Maurice Hart, who said to Samantha she's got to beat Barry, he better get his money out of his pocket and buy her a few drinks or whatever.
Well, she's doing it at the moment. She's got another lap yet though, so Barry's not going to make it easy.
This is the last lap and that, so no, it's good to see. Normally it's funny with this car, I've driven it here as well, and it always goes well here. It's one of these cars that suited to some circuits, tight twisty circuits like Browns and Anglesey. It's not quite so good, but at Snetterton. So Samantha, the pair of them are having a good old
side by side here. I think Barry's got the inside line. Oh no, looks as though who's buying the beers is changing hand. Around the outside at Brundle. Could you get the inside at Nelson? Because if you can,
that's it.
She might just hang on to it. We'll have to wait and see. Then I don't think we're going to get to see that, because we've got our race leader catching up on them. It's not going to quite catch them before the checkered flag, and also a spin, and I'm afraid that's Graham Wilson that's gone round.
Indeed, he's had a little spin. So I've given Samantha the curse of the commentator.
Your own daughter.
Yes.
You've cursed, commentary curse has headed in her direction. So the checkered flag will be coming out, because for the final time James Clark is just threading his way out of Murray's, And as all the 7 previous rounds have gone, round 8 also goes the way of James Clark, who remains unbeaten in 2023 in the Clubmans Sports Prototype Championship. Good championship points yet again for him. Long wait before Steve Dickens will come through though, and it should be Clive Wood that will complete the podium. But the battles, some of them that you'd picked up on their final laps.
Yeah, and it looks like Samantha and Barry just weren't quite lapped by James, so actually they've got one more lap to go.
No, they've taken the checkered flag.
Oh, have they?
They have, yeah. So she lost out by 3/4 of a second, I'm afraid.
Are you sure?
Oh, it said that. Oh, it came up checkered flag and now it's disappeared again.
I thought, looking out the window here, I thought that James was just behind them. So.
Yeah, no, you're right. It had a checkered flag on my screen, but that, as soon as I said it, that's disappeared.
So, Samantha, you've got one more lap to
Here she comes up towards the braking area for Agostini. Barry Webb pushing hard still. Samantha not going to let him off the leash if she can help it at all.
Yeah, I know what she's going to say to me when I get back. It'll be, it's not got enough straight line speed. She reckons it's always slow in the straight line. Take a bit of wing off for the next race.
Through comes Alan Cook to take the checkered flag. He'll be in 4th place. Ben Malek's 5th.
On his tail. That's
and Steve Littler,
having rebuilt the front end of the car.
Having rebuilt the front end of the car, does finish in 17th place a lap down, so no troubles. He went off wasn't qualifying, it was free practice, wasn't he?
We had a 30-minute free practice session.
And did you say the throttle stuck open?
Yes, that's right, yes. Yeah, and he made a quite mess of the front of the car, nose cone, radiator ducting and other bits and pieces, so they've done really well to rebuild that car. So it looks like Barry's off, got it on his own, yes.
Barry's done really well to hang on to this position as well. This is for the final podium spot, you could argue, in CSP2, going the way of Barry Webb at the moment. Samantha Evans, who was ahead, is only now a couple of corners away from the checkered flag, and time and opportunities are running out for her.
That's it. Will Freeman's just taken 2nd in CSP2, so obviously Matt's Gautier Thornton won that class again, but then Will in 2nd, so this is the battle for 3rd and 4th. So Samantha looks quicker out of there, but I'm not sure she's going to get the run up to the line. No,
Barry's just about going to hang on to it, so he'll pick up the final podium spot in CSP2. She's closing though, picking up the slipstream on the run to the line, but just going to fall a couple of car lengths short in the end. So those are the final 2 cars to come over the start-finish line. But for that man there, James Clark, that is now 8 wins out of the 8 races. So pretty much maximum championship points. He started from pole position. He also set the fastest lap as well, so he's done the clean sweep in reality. So there's a 15 points for the win, an extra point for pole, an extra point for the fastest lap in each class, and 1 extra point for a race start and an extra point for a race finish. So let's confirm the results then. James Clark wins round 8 of the championship from Steve Dickens in 2nd place and Clive Woods there in 3rd place. It was Alan Cook who was 4th, just ahead of Ben Malek who was 5th, and Adrian Lester completed the top 6. Steve Chaplin was in 7th place ahead of Mathieu Gautier Thornton. And Will Freeman was there in 9th place. 10th place, despite the spin in the end, was Graham Wilson at the wheel of the ex-Peter Richings car. Barry Webb was there in 11th place, just ahead of Samantha Evans in 12th place. And 13th place goes the way of Neil Chapman from Tom Muirhead, who scooped up top honours in CSPB. Roger Watton was 15th, ahead of Brendan Hurd, who was 16th. After his problems in qualifying, Steve Littler finished in 17th place. Then it was Mike Upton, Colin Ralph, and then the car of Collier that was next up that completed the top 20, the number 32 car that had its problems, Steve Collier. And also a retiree. Don't know where he disappeared to, but we did lose a number 34 car midway through that race, which was Sean Hurley. So that's it from the Clubmans Championship at the moment from Snetterton. We will look forward to seeing them tomorrow, where they will have 2 further races here on day 2 here at Snetterton. So thanks for joining us today. We'll see you again tomorrow for some more Clubmans Prototype action. Goodbye.